Welcome back to Nick's Bricks. I'm Nick, and today we're reviewing set number 9467, The Ghost Train. At 721 pieces, The Ghost Train takes the 7th rank in our series partometer and includes our first look at the ghosts of the monster realm. The set features our second aircraft of the Monster Fighters fleet and the haunted locomotive itself. Let's begin with a look at the Monster Fighters vehicle, the plane. The next addition to the Monster Fighters fleet is the plane. Joining the Autogyro as the second and final aircraft of the fleet, the single-prop plane is similar to the Sledge Tractor in that it uses a base model vehicle that has been heavily modified. Starting at the bottom, two wheels with rubber tires support the plane's weight when it's grounded. The landing gear extends from below the wings at the fuselage. Moving up, we have a 3-bladed propeller connected to a powerful rotary engine. The details of the motor include 8 cylinders at the front and exhaust manifolds to the sides made from Lego's revolvers. Moving to the open cockpit, which includes a trans-brown windshield, the interior features a basic seat back and a flight yoke made from bar and clip elements. The set includes 2 returning monster fighters in Frank Rock and Ann Lee. While the instructions direct us to place Frank Rock in the cockpit, it has been established that Ann Lee is a pilot and best suited to operate the plane, so I'll be flipping the minifigure's placements. The wings extend from the fuselage at the cockpit and includes a chain which hangs from the base of the plane's port wing. Following the remainder of the fuselage to the rear of the plane, we find the tail fins with vertical and horizontal stabilizers. The weaponry of the plane is designed specifically for attacking the ghosts of the monster realm, but to fully understand the strategy, we must first understand the enemy it will be used against. Let's have a look at the ghosts. The ghosts of the monster realm have the ability to fly and are intangible, making them difficult to vanquish once they've haunted an area or object. Their actions are more mischievous than malicious, being more interested in humor and amusement over dark ambitions. The Ghost Train includes 3 ghosts, and the main feature of the minifigures themselves is the shroud, which drapes from their heads down to just above the feet. LEGO has produced a few variations of the Ghost Shrouds since 1990, but the 2012 version, used in the Monster Fighters series, includes ruffles and creases at the front and back, a pointed hood at the top rear, and iron mouth holes forming a sad face. Removing the shroud, we see the base minifigure has a stark white torso and legs with a black head. The black head helps darken the ghost's mouth and eyes when the shroud is replaced. The ghost's intangibility comes from their power to phase between the physical world and the spirit world to varying degrees. While the ghosts use their phasing ability to evade attacks, it also can be focused on objects. The monster fighters refer to this process as haunting, and it can be difficult to restore a haunted article back to the physical world. Haunting an object allows the ghosts to take the item with them as they phase back and forth between worlds. The ghosts can haunt small items like pistols or swords, or larger, more complex items like airplanes, shipping boats, or locomotives. Speeding around the monster realm is the Ghost Train. Unconfined to train tracks, the powerful locomotive makes its way by floating just off the surface or can gain altitude for temporary flight. The Ghost Train is the primary build of the set and includes an engine and 3 cars, 2 of which are the same build and are the smallest section of the locomotive. The 4 wheels at its base are actually wedge belt wheels instead of LEGO's railroad wheels, as we may have expected. The wheels are covered by a rubber belt for better traction, which we'll see the need for in a moment. At the front is an extended tow ball, and the rear has a socket, forming the connection points consistent with the rest of the cars. Above the chassis, the car has a look of a speedy go-kart with bone and spike accents. At the front, the hood is held at an angle, and the horizontal spikes give the impression of bull horns. The rear is capped off by a 1x3 curved slope, giving the car an aerodynamic shape, and centered is a passenger area. This small compartment is standing room only and houses one of the joyriding ghosts. The long bone at the front is reminiscent of the safety bar on a theme park ride, which matches the Ghost's mischievous personalities. For them, it's all just a fun thrill ride. The most prominent feature of the small cart is the bat wings protruding from the sides. The bat wings, made from LEGO's Dragon Wings, which debuted in 1993 with the Dragon Knights theme, are part of the cart's play feature. As the car rolls, the wings flap. This simple design uses a Technic cam threaded on the axle. When we remove one of the rear wheels, we'll see the cam in place and the wing held on a Technic pin. As the axle rotates, the cam's point rises and lowers, pivoting the Technic connectors that hold the wing, causing the flapping motion. The primary function of the small winged cars is to help the Ghost Train maintain its flight. With the engine providing the forward momentum, the wings generate additional lift. The second variation of car on the Ghost Train is the jail car. The Ghosts use this car for transporting newly haunted objects or keeping captives. The lower section of the jail car shares the same features as the winged cars, with 4 wedge belt wheels with rubber belts, the extended tow ball at the front, and tow socket at the rear. Above the chassis, the cell is formed with solid walls at the front and rear, and gates on both sides. The gates are brick-built with bar bricks, long bones, and battle droid arms, which gives a look similar to a rib cage. At the center of the gate is a locking mechanism made with trans-neon green 1x1 round plates and clips. The Ghosts seem to be using an element of magic to keep the gates closed. When unlocked, the gates pivot open at the sides, revealing an empty interior. The top of the jail car is not unlike a battlement, with bones and varying lengths of spikes. With a large space in the middle, 1 or 2 ghosts can be stationed here to keep watch over the captives. The ghosts of the monster realm find humor in stealing away humans or fellow monsters just to release them in an inconvenient location. One time, after successfully capturing the mummy, the ghosts dropped him off in the marshlands near Cold Sleep Swamp just to get his wraps wet. The mummy was furious at the prank, but the ghosts thought it was hilarious. Because of the ghost's childish behavior and perpetual antics, Lord Vampire doesn't bother trying to make an allegiance with the specters, despite how effective and useful they might be. The instructions direct us to place Ann Lee in the jail, but having flipped the script, in goes Frank Rock. With a captured monster fighter, who knows where the ghosts intend to drop Frank? Dratchwald Forest with the werewolf? Or to the laboratory with a crazy scientist and his monster? Or perhaps the ghosts would find the most humor in delivering Frank to the doorstep of Lord Vampire's castle. The last section of the Ghost Train is the engine. This steam locomotive pulls the train cars along at breakneck speeds, making for a fast, thrilling ride for the amusement-seeking ghosts. The engine uses 8 railroad wheels with no additional rubber gripping. The front wheels are built directly on the chassis, thus do not pivot, and the rear wheels do not include rods. These omissions are forgivable since the set does not include railway pieces, and the Ghost Train itself floats and flies as needed. The front of the engine holds the railguard with trans-neon green headlights at its sides. Moving up, we see the front of the boiler is capped off with a grim, smiling face made from a printed 4x4 inverted radar dish. While the arched eyebrows and fangs remind us of Lord Vampire, I think of it more as a jack-o'-lantern than a homage to the monster realm's ruler. Running down either side of the boiler are winding frames made from curved Technic connectors with fins and further accented with barbs. Their shapes remind me of curving vines with sharp thorns, and they add a lot of depth and detail to the engine. At the rear of the engine is the crew compartment where one of the 3 ghosts operates the locomotive. The interior details include a lever and hatch which opens to reveal a raging fire keeping the boiler heated. The roof of the crew compartment includes more bony details with more battle droid arms, again giving the impression of ribs, and just ahead of the cab is the train's signal bell in pearl gold. At the front of the engine, topping off the boiler is a smokestack with a long flame element in trans bright green. Seems the ghosts are conducting the train at full throttle. Curious if the train's face, thorned boiler frames, bones, ribs, and spikes are added to the locomotive manually by the ghosts, or if they're a natural side effect of the haunting process. Positioned on the roof at the front of the cab is the Ghost's Moonstone, offering further power and speed to the train. The Ghost's Moonstone uses the stepped rock piece in translight blue with white prints showing a ghost face. The Ghost Train has over 15 glow-in-the-dark pieces, more than any other Monster Fighter set. These glow-in-the-dark elements include numerous cones on the wing and jail cars, 4L bars, most commonly used as lightsabers, at the rear of the engine, as well as the engine's face at the front of the boiler. Interestingly, the flames of the smokestack are molded in trans bright green and marbled with phosphorescent material. Lastly, the shrouds on the ghosts themselves glow in the dark, adding green luminescence to the troublesome pranksters. With the ghosts and Ghost Train's ability to phase between worlds, ghost hunting in the monster realm is not an easy challenge, but generations of Wrathbones have found a way. The weaponry of the plane has been designed specifically for use against the ghosts and the train. Mounted near the tips of the wings are 4 flick-fire missiles with heads made from trans-green bulbs. Upon impact, these specially designed missile heads emit a tachyon burst which pulls phased objects into the physical world, temporarily nullifying their phasing ability, the first of a 1-2 punch. For the second part of the attack, Dr. Wrathbone, using the research gathered by his past generations, formulated a chemical which binds to haunted objects and ghosts on a microscopic level and causes them to fade to the spirit world permanently. This chemical, which Ann Lee calls Ghost Begone, only binds to matters fully present in the physical world. The wood barrel mounted to the fuselage is full of the Ghost Begone chemical, and the hoses running to the wingtips will douse the ghosts and the train with the binding agent, permanently casting them into the spirit world. Ann Lee successfully targets the train with the burst missiles, locking the ghosts into the physical world, then executes a crop dusting maneuver, soaking the locomotive and the ghosts on board with the banishing agent. Ann Lee's sharp aim and piloting skills turn the Monster Fighter plane into a ghost duster. Who you gonna call? After vanquishing the ghosts and their train, Ann Lee lands the plane and rushes to check on Frank Rock, who has survived the ordeal unscathed. However, while Ann checks on her companion, Lord Vampire arrives to recover the Ghost's Moonstone. The Moonstone's paranormal energies prove too much for the Ghost Begone chemical to subdue it to the spirit world, and Lord Vampire is able to claim the discarded relic. And so Lord Vampire collects the 6th and final Moonstone needed to power his Eclipse machine. With the last Moonstone in place, the machine begins to charge, counting down to Lord Vampire's victory. While the Monster Fighters are relieved that Frank Rock has been rescued, there's no time to waste, and the team rushes into the monster realm for a final confrontation with Lord Vampire to stop him from realizing his dark vision. Join us for the final review of the Monster Fighter series, Vampire Castle. Our last set includes additional monsters, Lord Vampire's Gothic Castle, and the Eclipse Machine itself. Until then, this has been Nick with Nick's Bricks. Thank you for watching, and remember, build, disassemble, repeat.